This is the seminar for Module C, Unit 1, Lesson 2. Topic is the skeletal system. Your skeletal system has 5 primary functions. The first is to protect the internal organs. Think about bones you have that surround vital structures, such as your skull that protects your brain, or your rib cage that protects your heart and your lungs and all of the other organs in your chest and body cavity. Even your pelvis, which provides more of a support and movement function, also cradles some of the organs in the lower part of your abdomen. Then the skeletal system also supports the body. Without your skeleton, you would just be a lump. You couldn't move, you couldn't sit up straight. I used to joke with my kids about them going boneless and just being kind of lumpy on the floor when they were upset. So the skeleton provides a support role. One function of the skeleton that is more easily overlooked is the storage function. The skeleton is where some really important minerals are stored, such as calcium. You'll hear about people as they age losing some of those mineral deposits in their bones, and a loss of calcium then could lead to weakened bones and osteoporosis. Then the bones break more easily, which is certainly not desirable. Another overlooked function of the skeletal system is that it produces blood cells in the marrow. Your bones, some bones have red marrow and some bones have yellow marrow. And that tells us a bit about the cells that are produced in that marrow, whether it's red blood cells or white blood cells. And then that provides a really vital function for the body. And lastly, the skeletal system provides a place for muscles to attach. So muscles attach to your bones, and then the bones and muscles move in conjunction. They move together. The skeleton has a few important parts. Adults have 206 bones. Infants, when they're born, have more than 206. They actually have closer to 300 bones that slowly grow and fuse together. Sometimes you'll hear people talk about the soft spot on a baby's skull, and that's where some of the bones of the skull haven't yet grown together. Ligaments play a really important role. They connect one bone to another. So in this image, you can see these 2 red ligaments connecting the bones in the joint together. So they hold them together, but also allow for some flexibility and movement. If the bone was just one solid piece, then there wouldn't be a joint, it wouldn't move. Cartilage is the shiny white part you see in this image. That's smooth tissue at the ends of bones. Again, sometimes as people age, you'll hear that their cartilage wears out or that they lose cartilage in joints, which makes movement really painful because then it's bone on bone. It's not a smooth conjunction. You heard me use the word joint. A joint is a place where 2 or more bones connect, and there are a few different types of joints. Fixed joints, like the ones shown in the skull here, allow little or no movement. So there are 8 cranial bones here that join together. That's what these kind of zigzag lines show us, to connect the 8 bones of the skull. And it's important that your skull has these fixed joints because if the pieces of your skull could move, that would really endanger your brain. That in order for your skull to protect your brain, the joints need to be fused together. Then there are some types of joint that allow for movement. One of those is the ball and socket joint. This allows for movement in a large circle. Some examples of ball and socket joints include your hips and your shoulder. That's why you can make those big arm circles. And you can see here the femur is a large bone in your thigh, has a ball-shaped end to it that fits into a circular opening, a socket in the pelvis. You have the same thing in your arm and shoulder. Then the bones in your hands and feet are the joints in your hands and feet are gliding joints. So the bones are able to slide across each other, and that allows for a lot of movement. Try moving your hand and your fingers. All the ways that you can move your fingers and your toes are the same. That's because of those gliding joints. Then some of your joints are hinge joints. Your elbow and your knee are 2 good examples. With those, the bones can move back and forth, so you can open and close the joint just like you can open and close a door, but it doesn't move in a complete circle. Then let's look at the muscular system. This is the second seminar for Unit 1, Lesson 2. You have three types of muscle. The first type of muscle in your body is smooth muscle. This muscle is found in internal organs and blood vessels, and it's involuntary, which means that it can't be controlled. So these are the muscles that would help you to do things like breathe, things that you don't think about that your body does on its own. A second type of muscle in your body is cardiac muscle. This muscle is found in the tissue that makes up the heart. And again, that's involuntary muscle. You don't have to think about your heart beating. It just does that on its own without you consciously thinking about it. And then the third type of muscle in the body is skeletal muscle. This is attached to your bones and it allows for movement. Skeletal muscle is a voluntary muscle, which means that you can control it. You think about moving your arm to reach and pick up that pencil that's on your desk. So you are in control of it. You choose when it will move and when it won't move. Tendons are important connective tissues. Their job is to connect a muscle to a bone. So one example of a tendon is your Achilles tendon that connects the muscles in your calf to your heel. It's possible to damage or even sever that tendon. It's really painful. If you tear your Achilles tendon, that usually would require surgery to correct. So any place where you've got a muscle that attaches to a bone that allows the muscle to move that bone, a tendon is what actually does the work of connecting. Here's another graphic that shows the three types of muscle: cardiac muscle in the heart, skeletal muscle that is here along the bicep, and then smooth muscle, that involuntary muscle in your organs. Then there are two types of muscles when we talk about movement. Biceps are examples of flexor muscles. They contract in order to bend the arm. So if you flex your arm, if you bring your forearm up to your shoulder, you can feel your bicep move. Then the tricep muscle acts on the opposite side of your arm. That's an extensor, and that will contract when you straighten your arm. You can feel that if you straighten your arm. You can feel your tricep on the back of your arm getting tighter. Then when you flex your arm, the tricep loosens and the bicep tightens. And then here is a picture of a tricep stretch, where if you put your arm, push it down behind your back, you can feel that tricep muscle stretch out. A wall set is a great way to test out your muscles and feel how they're working. So to do a perfect wall sit, you can practice this with me. Start with your back against a wall, feet shoulder width apart and about 2 feet out from the wall. Then slowly slide your back down the wall until your thighs are parallel to the ground. Check to see that your knees are directly over your ankles, not over your toes. Keep your back flat against the wall. And the longer you stay, the more you'll feel the muscles in your legs that are supporting you start to burn. This is an anaerobic exercise because you are not moving while you do it. You'll know you're doing it right if there's a right angle, like you can see in the picture here, between the hips and the knees. The back is flat against the wall and the heels are flat on the ground. The longer you sit, the more you'll feel your muscles burn because you're using up all the stored oxygen and other nutrients in them and producing a lot of lactic acid buildup. So again, that wall sit is a good way to test out your muscles and just feel those flexors and extensors and what your muscles do when they're working. These are the notes for Mod C, Unit 1, Lesson 3 on the skeletal and muscular system.